Before heading home for the new year, I put several hungry giant snapping turtles in the villa's pond, raised a fierce Komodo dragon in the treehouse, and a nest of venomous red-headed centipedes, then quietly waited for my ex-girlfriend to come break in. In my past life, he took advantage of me going home for the holiday, and brought his whole family to squat in my villa. They not only slept in my master bedroom, drank my expensive red wine. His two bratty nephews also ruined my entire collection of prized figurines in the study. When I confronted him about it, Suya, to morally blackmail me, actually went lie pretending to slit her wrists, crying that I was trying to drive him to death over a few toys. Uninformed netizens hated me to the bone because of this. They not only cyberbullied me and wrecked my company, there were even irrational fanatics lurking in the underground garage, stabbed me several times with a blade, causing me to lose too much blood and die miserably in a pool of blood. This life, reborn right after breaking up with Suya, so I rushed overnight to bring my precious figurines all to another house. Then, in the yard's pond, I put a few fierce giant snapping turtles, also arranged a Komodo dragon and red-headed centipedes in the study. I deliberately hung a striking red warning sign at the door. It clearly stated, "Dangerous pets inside. No entry. Trespassers assume all risks." But I know him too well. I know he absolutely can't resist picking the lock to get in. This is a luxury villa worth tens of millions. Enough for him to show off on social media for a while, since he insists on spending New Year at my place. Let him have a new year he'll never forget. Everything ready. I locked all doors and windows, turned on the whole house surveillance system, confirmed every corner was under control, then drove away from the villa area. After driving 10 kilometers, I checked into a hotel at the highway service area, opened my phone to connect to the villa's surveillance. The screen showed the empty mansion silent and still. The pond in the yard shimmered. Who would have thought? Under that calm surface lurked deadly danger. New Year's Eve, 7 p.m. I was enjoying a hearty dinner. My phone suddenly buzzed with an alert. The surveillance footage showed a beat-up van stopped at the villa's gate. The door opened. Suya stepped out first in high heels. Sumu carried large bags of luggage. Su father carried a box of cheap liquor. Two 7 or 8-year-old boys excitedly rushed to the villa's front door. "Mom, look how grand this villa is." "I told you." He definitely did it on purpose, breaking up to play hard to get. "This house will be mine sooner or later. This is a mansion worth tens of millions." Yeah, you're so lucky. It says there are cute pets. They wouldn't really have dangerous animals, right? I dated him for so long. He never even owned a cat. Probably just trying to scare off people sneaking in. Deliberately put up a sign to bluff. "Hey, is this Master Wang? I'm the one who had you unlock a lock last time." "Yeah, I forgot my keys at home again. Can you come over?" Right. Same villa as last time." I smirked watching the surveillance. In my past life, he used this trick to fool the locksmith, claiming he forgot his keys. But this time, I specifically turned on HD recording, keeping this deadly evidence. "Master, sorry for the trouble. I'm the lady of this house. Forgot my keys at home." "Wow, what a big house." "Wow. Thanks, Master. This is my boyfriend's house. We're getting married soon." I sat in the hotel room, slowly poured myself a glass of red wine. "Welcome to hell, Suya. This great show is just beginning." "Mom, put the stuff in the master bedroom. That bed is the most comfortable." "Dad, the wine cabinet is in the dining room. Help yourself to whatever you like." This guy sure knows how to spend money. "Dad, that bottle costs over 20,000. Then let's start with that." Sumu pulled out sunflower seeds and peanuts from his bag. The whole family sat casually on the sofa cracking them, spitting shells all over the floor. I tightened my grip on the wine glass, took a deep breath, told myself to stay calm. The best is yet to come. Suya ate for a while, suddenly remembered something, pulled out her phone and set up a selfie stick. "Girls, I'm Lai now. Come on, where are you today? This house is so big and luxurious, girls. This is my boyfriend's villa." He realized his mistake and begged me to get back together, and gave me the keys to this house. I snorted coldly. In my past life, he lied this too, twisting me into a desperate backup plan. "Your boyfriend is so good to you. This house must be worth tens of millions. Yeah, is really lucky. Let me show you this open kitchen, super big and bright. Then push open this glass door. Wow. Private gym. All kinds of equipment available. Grandma, I want to play in the yard." "Go ahead, don't go too far." "Wow, look at that pond. The lights are on. So pretty. Such a big swimming pool." "Wow, looks like there are big turtles inside." "Grandma, I want to swim too. I want to go catch the turtles." "The water's so cold in winter." "It's not cold. That pool is steaming. It must be heated. Rich people's pools can swim all year round, girls. Look how big this yard is. This will be my home from now on. Everyone is welcome to visit." "Grandpa, help me take off my clothes." "All right, Grandpa will help you. But just play in the water at the edge. Don't swim too far." I sat in the hotel room, watching the surveillance footage, slowly put down my wine glass. Those rock-like black shadows in the pond were swimming faster and faster. Those giant snapping turtles had been hungry for 3 days, extremely aggressive, now on the verge of going berserk. Su father helped the older child strip down to his shorts. The younger child bounced excitedly on the shore. Suya was still immersed in her lychee trim, completely unaware of the deadly crisis nearby. I stared intently at the screen. A slow smile crept across my lips. "Come on, let me see how long your family can party in my villa." The older child stood by the pool, tentatively dipped his foot into the water. 3, 2, 1, wow, not cold. It's really warm water. With that, he jumped, splashed into the pond with a loud splash. Water flew everywhere. The child splashed around, laughing happily. The younger child watched enviously from the shore, wanting to get in too. Su's father stood by the pool smiling and instructing. Slow down, don't choke. Through the underwater surveillance camera, I clearly saw the black shadows quickly converge on the fallen child. Giant snapping turtles have incredible bite force and are extremely sensitive to vibrations in the water. Hungry for 3 days, they were now live beasts smelling meat. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Suddenly, the older child's laughter turned into a blood-curdling scream. He struggled wildly in the water, flailing his hands on the surface, as if something heavy was biting him, dragging him down hard. The water instantly turned red. Help! Save me! Su's father's face changed drastically. Without a second thought, he jumped into the water, grabbed his grandson's arm tightly, pulling up with all his might. But the giant snapping turtles underwater had gone completely mad. Their jaws, like iron clamps, bit down hard on the child's calf, even his thigh, refusing to let go. Let go! Let go! Su's father pulled desperately, shouting in despair. Sumu heard the commotion and rushed out, saw the pool filled with horrifying bloody water, collapsed to the ground in fear on the spot, let out a piercing scream. My grandson! Suya was still holding her phone live streaming. Hearing the scream, she turned the camera sharply. Tens of thousands of viewers in the live she trimmed instantly witnessed this bloody, terrifying scene. Oh my god, what is that monster? Something in the water is biting them. Call the police. The comments exploded. Suya was so scared she almost dropped her phone. She rushed to the pool, watching the bloody turmoil and her family's desperate struggle. Completely stunned, Su's father fought with all his might, at the cost of his arm being bitten bloody. Finally managed to drag his grandson ashore. But the child's calves were bitten to a pulp, covered in terrible torn wounds. The child was in so much pain he was almost in SOC. Too weak to even cry. Only faint twitching remained. Quick, get a towel to stop the bleeding. Sumu ran frantically into the house for a towel. Suya stood frozen, pale as a ghost. Call the police. Call the police. He finally snapped out of it. Just as she was about to dial, she suddenly stopped as if shocked. Call the police? What would she tell them? That she had a locksmith break into someone else's villa and used their pool without permission? Absolutely can't call the police. The grandson is this badly hurt. What are you standing there for? Can't call the police. This is trespassing. If we call the police, our whole family will go to jail. Suya's lie she trim had actually been on the whole time. Girls, you all saw it. He did this on purpose. He knew I was coming. Deliberately raised these bloodthirsty monsters in the pool. He wants to kill our whole family. This man is so vicious. To get back at me, he won't even spare a child. Scumbag. The lie she trim erupted in outrage. Uninformed netizens started furiously cursing me. Suya cried harder and harder. Blamed everything on me. I sat in the hotel room, calmly opened my computer, logged into my social media Otsao. I had long prepared the perfect counterattack material. A high-definition close-up of the prominent warning sign at the villa's gate, surveillance footage of the locksmith breaking the lock, and a full 6DO of Suya directing her family to bring in luggage, and recklessly trashing the living room. I posted each piece of evidence one by one, with an extremely simple caption. Suya's lying face to the locksmith, and her family's greedy, squatter lie behavior, all captured clearly by the HD surveillance. In less than 10 minutes, the online comments completely reversed. Oh my god. So he broke in himself. There was a huge warning sign. Whose fault is it? That woman just said in the lie she trim that her boyfriend gave her the keys. She's full of lies. Serves her right. I hate trespassers. And you're still acting righteous. After the public opinion turned, a flood of righteous netizens poured into Suya's lie she trim to curse her. Liar. Where's the boyfriend's keys you talked about? You think breaking in is justified? The warning sign was huge. Are you blind? Why didn't it bite you too? Suya watched the screen full of insults, panicked and turned off the lie she trim, trembling uncontrollably. She never expected that I had kept so much evidence, and that public opinion would reverse so quickly. The child is still bleeding. Su's father's desperate shout interrupted her thoughts. The older child lay on the sofa, pale as paper. Sumu bandaged him with a towel, but blood kept seeping out. We have to go to the hospital. No, going to the hospital. The doctor will definitely ask how the wound happened. Then the trespassing thing will definitely come out. Do you want to see us all go to jail? Su's mother was crying her eyes out. Then what about the child? First find the first aid kit in the house. Suya forced herself to calm down. She started frantically rummaging through the villa. Finally, in the kitchen's utility cabinet, she found a large first aid kit. It had iodine, gauze, strong painkillers, and anti-inflammatories. Sumu quickly cleaned the child's wound with trembling hands, applied medicine and gave him painkillers. The older child groaned in pain, but as the strong painkiller took effect, he slowly calmed down and fell asleep as night deepened. The Su family was all shaken, each lost in their own thoughts, staying in the living room. I watched this coldly through the surveillance. A slight smile curled on my lips. This is only the first day. The real show is still waiting upstairs. The next morning, the older child woke up. The painkillers worked well. Su's mother fed him a bowl of plain congee. Here, cover this up. Lie down and rest. Grandma, I'm so bored. Sweetie, you're badly hurt. You mustn't move around. Can I watch TV or play games? Okay, Grandma will turn it on for you. Here, cartoons. Grandma, Suda's aunt. Didn't she say before that her study had lots of expensive figurines? Those toys must be super fun, the study. Right, last time your aunt showed me pictures. All big robots and superheroes. I want to see, I want to play with toys. Don't go, your leg is still hurt. Taking advantage of the adults discussing what to do next in the dining room, he endured the pain and limped off the sofa, sneaking towards the study on the second floor. I sat in front of the screen, watching that reckless little figure on the surveillance. My smile grew wider. The older child pushed open the heavy wooden door of the study, but found it empty inside. The display shelves once full of expensive figurines were bare. Huh, where are the toys? The child muttered in disappointment. He unwillingly circled the room, suddenly noticed several large black incubators in the corner, each over a meter long, lids tightly sealed. The brat's eyes lit up again. Such mysterious boxes. There must be good stuff inside. He walked over curiously, crouched by the box, and listened carefully. A low hissing sound came from inside, and a sharp scratching noise. A grating sound that set teeth on edge. There must be moving electric toys inside, the child thought excitedly. That bad uncle hid all the good stuff. I want to see what it is. This attitude was exactly Lai Suya's family. The more someone says not to touch something, the more they think it's a treasure, and have to take it for themselves. The incubator's lock was specially made, a bit tricky for a 7 or 8-year-old, but he was surprisingly patient. Felt around for a bit, grabbed a heavy pure copper letter opener from my desk, and started prying at the metal lock. With a crisp click, he pried the lock open. Just as the lid popped open, the older nephew eagerly stuck his head in to see what was hidden inside, a transformer or limited edition figurine. But what greeted him wasn't a fine toy, but a strong, foul smell. Then, the dark bottom of the box suddenly churned violently. Whoosh, a centipede over 20 centimeters long, covered in dense red heads, shot out of the box like lightning. This wasn't an ordinary bug. It was a venomous ornamental species I had a friend specially get. Usually fed lie insects. Very fierce. The older nephew didn't even react. The big centipede had already climbed up his arm, slipped right into his sleeve. Ah, what is that? The older nephew shuddered in fright, instinctively slapped his arm. This slap directly angered the centipede. Through the high-definition audio equipment, I clearly heard a heart-wrenching scream. The centipede's venomous fangs sank viciously into the inside of the older nephew's arm. That searing pain was no less than being stabbed by a red-hot nail. But it wasn't over yet. There wasn't just one centipede in the incubator. As the lid was fully opened, several more red-headed centipedes crawled out. Some fell on his feet. Some crawled up his pant legs. Help! There are bugs. Grandma, Mom, the older nephew completely broke down, hopping and jumping in pain, frantically slapping his clothes. Tears and snot instantly covered his face. In extreme panic, he backed away, not paying attention to where he was stepping. With a loud thud, he backed into the largest incubator. That incubator's lid wasn't locked. Hit by his sudden impact, it tipped over. The study fell silent for a second. The older nephew forgot to cry, stared blankly at the overturned box. A claw covered in rough scales, like tree bark, slowly emerged from the box. With a slap, it hit the wooden floor. Then, a huge head poked out. Pale yellow eyes coldly stared at the older nephew on the floor. A forked, bright red tongue hissed, greedily catching the scent of blood and panic in the air. A Komodo dragon. This thing is a true cold-blooded killer in nature. Though the one I got was a legally bred subadult, only about 1.5 meters long. But the pressure it exerted could scare an adult into peeing their pants, let alone a 7 or 8-year-old brat. The dragon was clearly disturbed by the commotion. It twisted its thick body, completely crawled out of the box, trapping the older nephew in the corner. It opened its mouth wide, revealing fine, sharp teeth. Disgusting saliva dripped from the corners of its mouth onto the floor. The older nephew was too scared to scream. His legs shook violently. A sheet trim of pale yellow liquid flowed down his shorts, forming a puddle on the floor. He had peed his pants. Watching this horrifying yet ridiculous scene on the screen, I took a bite of my grilled skewer expressionlessly, washed it down with a gulp of cold beer. I felt no anger in my heart, not even a shred of sympathy. Some might think I'm heartless, not even sparing a child. But if you had experienced what I did in my past life, you'd know that this family's core, from old to young, is selfish, mean, and unreasonable. In my past life, to win an offer from a top architectural design institute, I stayed up all night for a month straight. Using thousands of tiny parts, I built a highly creative miniature city architectural model. That was the work of my life, and my ticket to change my fate. Then during the new year, it was this older nephew, now peeing his pants, and his younger brother, who poured cola on my model and stomped the fragile buildings to pieces. When I saw the mess and was shaking all over, what did Suya say? She casually cracked sunflower seeds and sneered. Oh, it's just a bunch of broken plastic and cardboard. What's the big deal? Kids don't know any better. They're just a little mischievous. Are you really going to argue with a couple of kids? So petty. Smart, I'll go to the market and buy you a new one.
Sumu also chimed in.
Yeah, boys are smarter when they're active.
You've got a pile of junk here.
And no one can touch it.
What's so precious about it?
That was a month of sleepless nights. That was my future, in their eyes.
My life's work was worthless.
So later, when netizens cyberbullied me, Suya didn't hesitate to go lie and fake the suicide,
pushing me into the abyss.
A loud bang brought me back from my memories.
On the surveillance screen. And rushed to the second floor, panting.
Little Bao, what's wrong?
Sumu screamed in the hallway.
The steady door had been set with a smart lock auto-lock program.
After the older nephew went in,
the door locked automatically.
They couldn't get in.
Su father twisted the doorknob a few times, found it wouldn't open, and from inside came the nephew's pig-like screams and loud crying. Grandpa, help! A big lizard is biting me. Bugs are biting me. Su father's eyes turned red with panic.
He glanced around.
His eyes locked onto a blue and white porcelain vase on the hallway display cabinet. Honey, move aside. I'll smash this damn door. Su father rushed over without a word.
He picked up the half-person tall vase.
That was a genuine Ming Dynasty Imperial kiln piece.
I spent 2.5 million on it at an auction.
I watched Su father on the screen, lifting the vase.
Couldn't help but laugh.
Smash hard. That 2.5 million antique vase, Su father used it like a battering ram and slammed it hard against the study's solid wood door.
The sturdy door only got a shallow dent,
but that exquisite blue and white vase instantly shattered into pieces on the floor. Ouch, my old back. Su father was knocked back 2 steps by the recoil, but he didn't stop trying to open the door. He turned his red eyes to the display shelf on the other side of the hallway. On it were my collected jade carvings, Tianhuang stone seals, and precious purple clay teapots. Sumu also joined in. He grabbed a 300,000 yuan ice jade cabbage carving and threw it like a brick at the door lock. What kind of crappy door handle is this? What's wrong with my little treasure? Humph. Jade shards flew everywhere when the purple clay teapot shattered. Listening to the sounds of expensive items breaking from the monitor, I didn't feel a bit of pain. Instead, I laughed out loud. I picked up the calculator on the table. My fingers quickly tapped. Ming Dynasty blue and white vase, 2.5 million. Ice jade carving, 300,000. Qing Dynasty Tianhuang stone seal valued at 800,000. I nodded in satisfaction as I calculated every item placed in the hallway. I had fully insured with the insurance company and hired the most authoritative judicial appraisal agency to issue detailed appraisal certificates and valuation reports. The originals were all locked in a bank safe. According to China's criminal law, intentional destruction of public or private property, if the amount is huge or there are other especially serious circumstances, the punishment is 3 to 7 years in prison. And if the amount exceeds 50,000 yuan, that's already considered a huge amount. The Su family's less than a minute crazy smashing totaled over 4 million yuan. Smash it all, Dad, smash it all. I muttered coldly to myself. With those few swings, not only will they have to pay me their life savings, but the whole family will be doing time for years. That's a blessing they can enjoy for a while. Just then, Suya also ran upstairs in a panic. Seeing the antique fragments all over the floor, she didn't stop them. Instead, she helped Su father find a fire axe.
Use this to chop it open, Suya screamed and directed.
Under Su father's frantic chopping, the study's solid wood door finally got a big hole. Su father reached in, found the handle,
and opened the door from inside.
The Su family gasped in SOC,
frozen in place.
In the study, the nephew was curled up in a corner, his arm swollen like a purple steamed bun,
with several red-headed centipedes crawling on it.
And less than half a meter away from him, that meter-long Komodo dragon was staring coldly at the crowd bursting in,
making a chilling hissing sound.
Oh my god, what kind of monster is that? Sumu's legs went weak with fear.
He collapsed in the hallway.
Suya also turned pale with terror, backing away repeatedly, not daring to step forward. This is definitely something he raised to harm us. But Su father, relying on his courage, waved the fire axe in his hand, and bluffed loudly. Get lost. Beast, get lost. The Komodo dragon is a cold-blooded animal, though fierce. Faced with an adult shouting and waving a weapon, it didn't attack immediately. Instead, it cautiously backed off 2 steps. Taking this chance, Su father acted quickly,
grabbed the nephew's other arm with all his might, and dragged him out of the study.
Ah, it hurts, Grandpa, I'm dying of pain. The nephew screamed like a stuck pig. A few centipedes fell off his arm, but the venom had already taken full effect. He rolled on the floor in pain, foaming at the mouth. Quick, go to the master bedroom and lock the door. Suya screamed in command. The family of 4 lie-beaten dogs crawled and scrambled toward the master bedroom at the end of the hall. Su father carried the child. Sumu and Suya pushed them from behind into the master bedroom. Bang! They locked the door tightly,
even pushed a dresser against it.
I watched the screen. A smirk curled at the corner of my mouth. In extreme panic, they only thought about saving themselves,
but made a deadly mistake.
After dragging the nephew out, they forgot to close the study door. The study door was wide open.
That hungry Komodo dragon,
after staying still for a while, slowly and heavily moved its limbs,
and crawled out of the study.
Its tongue kept flicking out,
smelling the nephew's urine scent in the air.
The blood smell, and the Su family's sweat. The entire multi-million $2 luxury villa
had now become this cold-blooded killer's hunting ground. The real show was just beginning.
I raised my beer glass and toasted the monitor screen from afar. Hope you all sleep well tonight. On the monitor screen, the scene in the second-floor master bedroom was lie atop disaster Mu 6. This was originally my carefully decorated private space for my own enjoyment. Now it had become a safe haven for these four, or rather, a cage.
The nephew lay on that expensive leather bed.
His whole body was starting to convulse from pain. The arm bitten by the red-headed centipede was now swollen like a purple eggplant with 2 black blood holes on it, oozing yellow fluid. Little treasure, my dear grandson, don't scare grandma. Sue mother knelt by the bed. Besides wailing and wiping tears, she could do nothing. Sue father paced irritably around the room. Lie a trapped wild boar. He walked to the door, pressed his ear against it to listen, and immediately backed away, pale-faced. I heard it too, through the high-sensitivity microphone installed in the hallway.
I could clearly hear the Komodo dragon,
its rough scales scraping against the floor. Hiss, that was it flicking its tongue. Then came the sound of sharp claws scratching the master bedroom door. Creak, creak, over and over, slow and steady,
but like a death knell, echoing through the room.
This beast moves slowly, but its sense of smell is extremely sharp. The fresh blood smell from the nephew was an irresistible temptation to it. It was now waiting outside the door for the people inside to walk into its trap. It's still out there. Can this door hold? Sue mother trembled with fear. I pushed the dresser against it. It should be fine. Sue father swallowed his saliva, his voice shaking. I sneered. That door was a top-grade solid wood composite security door with a steel plate inside. The Komodo dragon couldn't get in, but I wanted to trap them inside. Let them taste what it's like to cry out to heaven and earth with no response. At that moment, Suya was huddled in a corner, frantically scrolling through her phone. She had tried to live stream earlier but failed.
I crushed her with the surveillance footage I released.
Netizens were all cursing her for trespassing and turning the tables. Seeing the screen full of insults, her surgically altered face, twisted with extreme anger and fear, was somewhat deformed. Yaya, call the police and an ambulance. Little treasure is dying. Sumu finally couldn't hold back. Crying, she tried to grab Suya's phone. Can't call the police. Suya violently pushed her mother's hand away, growling like a madwoman. How many times have I told you? If we call the police, we're finished. She has the surveillance of us picking the lock. Once the police come and check the warning sign, and check with the locksmith, our whole family will end up in jail. Do you want little treasure to have a mom and grandparents who've been to prison? Then what? Just wait here to die? Su's father also panicked. Suya gritted her teeth. A vicious glint flashed in her eyes. Doesn't he lie posting evidence on lie? Doesn't he lie manipulating public opinion? Fine. I'll play a big game with him. These days, whoever is weaker is right. I don't believe netizens will side with a rich guy like him. I raised an eyebrow on the monitor. Interesting. This woman, even at death's door, still thinking about how to bite back. Suya quickly searched through her phone contacts, finally dialed a number. To ensure a smooth smart home experience, I had installed hidden smart panels in every room. These could control lights and windows, and their sound pickup was as good as professional monitoring equipment. The call connected. Suya immediately put on a pitiful, tearful voice. Hello, is this Viper skinning brother? Det, it's me, Suya.
You have to help me.
My ex-boyfriend is a psycho. He wants to kill my whole family.
I took a sip of beer,
thinking to myself, what a waste not to win an Oscar.
This Viper skinning brother,
I know him.
He's a bottom-feeding,
unscrupulous self-media influencer. As long as there's money or viral traffic, he'll make any dirty money. His specialty is taking things out of context and twisting the truth. I tell you, the evidence he posted on Lie is all fake. It's a setup by him. Suya fabricated tearfully on the phone. He pretended to get back together with me, changed the locks, made me call a locksmith,
just to trap me.
He put poisonous bugs in the house, and large cold-blooded animals. My nephew is only 7, bitten by a poisonous bug, almost dead. He locked all the doors and windows. This is false imprisonment and attempted murder. The influencer on the other end clearly smelled viral traffic. His voice was excited. Girl, this is a huge scandal. Got 60-0? Got photos? As long as there's footage, I promise to make a viral hit out of it and ruin his reputation.
But the PR fee, money's no problem.
As long as you help me flip public opinion. Get him cyberbullied and arrested. I'll pay whatever you want,
Suya said viciously.
Then she used her phone to take a picture of the nephew convulsing on the bed. Then went to the door crack and filmed a blurry 60-0 of the Komodo dragon's claws scratching the door. Hacked and sent it. Hung up. Suya let out a long sigh of relief, as if she could already see me begging for mercy. At that moment, Su's father came over. He looked at his grandson, who was barely conscious from pain. Not only did he not feel sorry, but his eyes showed extreme greed. The conversation that followed completely shattered my understanding of human decency. Yaya, will this plan work? What if he insists we broke in? Su's father lowered his voice. Suya sneered. What's there to fear? Even if he has surveillance, Little Treasure is seriously injured now. That's a fact. Netizens always sympathize with the weak.
As long as we insist he set us up
and put poisonous bugs in the house to murder us, he'll never be able to clear his name.
Netizens' spit will drown him.
Su's father listened, his eyes rolling, and slapped his thigh. Right. Why didn't I think of that? Since Little Treasure is already this hurt, let's just blow this up big. Sumu was stunned. Old man.
What do you mean?
Little Treasure's arm might not be saved. You don't know anything. Su father glared at Su mother, then looked around the luxurious master bedroom.
Look at this house.
The decoration alone must be tens of millions.
This guy is loaded.
Since he let poisonous bugs bite our grandson.
That's intentional harm, attempted murder.
He paused, rubbing his hands excitedly. Once the online uproar starts and the police get involved,
we'll go negotiate with him.
If he wants to settle this quietly
and avoid jail, this villa, he'll have to transfer it to us as compensation.
Plus medical expenses, mental anguish. We'll squeeze another 10 million out of him. Sumu heard this. Her previously crying face instantly brightened. Her eyes lit up.
Oh, really? This house will be ours?
Then little treasure's bites weren't for nothing. This is a blessing in disguise.
Just a few bites.
For a multi-million doula mansion. Totally worth it.
Su father laughed smugly, completely ignoring his grandson's painful moans. Don't rush to find a way out yet.
Let little treasure hold on a bit longer.
The more swollen and scary his arm looks, the higher the price we can demand. Suya nodded in agreement. Dad's right.
You can't catch a wolf without risking a child.
This time, we'll drain him dry.
I sat in front of the screen,
watching this family's demonic faces. My back didn't feel cold.
Instead, a surge of unprecedented excitement rose in me.
I thought they were just greedy and petty, but I never imagined they were this evil at their core. To extort a house. They'd even use their own grandson's life as leverage. No wonder they ruined me so badly in my past life.
But it's fine. The more they dig their own grave,
the more justified my counterattack will be. As expected, that viper skinning brother worked fast. In less than an hour,
a 6DO titled Outrageous.
Rich ex-boyfriend sets deadly trap.
7-year-old boy bitten by poisonous bugs.
On the brink of death, hit the trending list.
The 6DO was edited professionally.
He blurred out the warning signs at my door, muted the locksmith's conversation, only kept Suya's tearful recording, the nephew's purple arm, and the blurry figure of the Komodo dragon through the door crack.
With extremely oppressive, scary background Myodite.
He painted me as a psychopathic killer. Sure enough, the internet is never short of fools swayed by emotion.
Once the 6DO came out, the previous public opinion reversal was instantly suppressed.
A more intense wave of cyberbullying hit me like a tidal wave. Damn, this guy is too twisted. Is he raising bugs at home?
No matter what the adults did wrong, the child is innocent. Releasing poisonous bugs to bite a child. This isn't just a dispute anymore. This is attempted murder. Call the police and arrest him. This kind of antisocial personality should be executed, even if the woman was wrong to pick the lock.
The man's actions are excessive self-defense and intentional harm. Support the woman's rights. With Viper skinning brother and his bots stirring the pot, netizens' emotions were fully ignited. My social media accounts were flooded with hundreds of thousands of private messages, all filled with the most vicious curses and insults. Even my deceased parents were dragged into the mud. Not only that, those so-called righteous netizens started doxing me.
The same army that cyberbullied me in my past life was back.
In less than half an hour, my license plate number,
and even the highway service area hotel I was staying at,
were all dug up and posted in the most prominent spot in the comments. This beast is hiding in the Hilton Hotel at XX Highway Service Area.
Brothers nearby, go block him. I've already called the mayor's hotline and the police.
Don't let him escape. I watched the threatening messages popping up on my phone and even heard hurried footsteps in the hallway outside and knocks on my hotel room door.
Probably some extreme netizens or streamers looking for traffic had actually tracked me down.
I picked up a tissue,
wiped my mouth after eating the skewers.
My eyes turned ice cold.
You want to play the public opinion game with me? The editing game?
The extortion game? Do you really think I'm still the pushover from my past life? Who let you walk all over me? I stood up and walked to the desk,
plugged a large capacity external hard drive into the computer.
This drive contained footage from dozens of HD cameras, 24/7 4K surveillance originals, and the smart home system's Taubacked audio recordings. I opened a SOP-K, extracted the recording of Suya's call to the influencer, and Su father and mother's horrifying conversation about letting the grandson suffer longer to extort a villa. All the crucial audio. At the same time, using some technical means, I hacked directly into Suya's phone sao and retrieved the transfer record
of her paying 100,000 yuan in PR fees to Viper skinning brother.
The knocking outside grew louder. Some even started kicking the door. Chin, get out here.
Stop hiding like a coward. Come out and explain.
I ignored them. My fingers flew across the keyboard. I packed all the surveillance originals, unedited videos, HD transfer screenshots, and those mind-blowing audio recordings into a massive 6DO compilation. I didn't add any flashy Myodike or any guiding subtitles. Just put a few huge, cold white words at the start of the 6DO. No form of settlement will be accepted. I don't want this villa anymore, but I guarantee none of you will have an easy time. I watched the progress bar fill up quickly. My mouse cursor hovered over the publish button. On the monitor screen, the master bedroom door was now riddled with claw marks from the Komodo dragon. Wood chips were scattered all over the floor. The nephew's cries grew weaker. The Su family's faces were filled with panic. They were still dreaming of getting rich overnight and trampling me underfoot. Go to hell. I sneered and pressed down hard on the mouse button. The nuclear bomb dropped. Chen. Get out here. Stop playing dead in there. The banging on the hotel room door grew louder, mixed with some nasty curses. Probably some local influencer, desperate for attention, had come to confront me lie.
I leaned back on the sofa, not even lifting my eyes.
With the click of the mouse,
that multi-gigabyte nuclear bomb of a 6DO compilation was instantly uploaded to all major social platforms. The people outside were still screaming, "Brothers, this psycho is hiding in there. Today, we're going to drag out this bug-releasing,
child-biting murderer.
Justice will prevail." Before he could finish, his voice suddenly cut off. Silence for 2 seconds outside the door.
Then I heard a shocked, "Damn, bro.
Look at the trending list. This Shitari doesn't add up."
Another voice chimed in,
with obvious panic. What doesn't add up?
"Damn. That old man really said that? Let the grandson suffer longer to extort a villa? Is that even a real grandfather?
And that woman was faking it too. The lockpicking 6DO is right here.
It wasn't the guy setting a trap. They broke in themselves."
Quick, turn off the live stream. Damn, we were used. Let's get out of here. If we get caught as accomplices, we're done for.
A flurry of hurried footsteps faded away. I sneered,
picked up the ice-cold beer on the table and downed it in one gulp. These keyboard warriors and traffic-chasing flies are just like that. Their brains may not work well,
but they still have a survival instinct.
As long as you slap solid evidence in their faces, they'll run faster than anyone.
I opened my phone. The comments sections of all platforms had exploded. The netizens who were just cursing me and trying to dox me after watching my unedited 6DO with timestamps and multiple camera angles were now collectively furious. This time, their anger was directed entirely at Suya's family. I've never seen such a vicious family in my life. To extort a mansion from an ex-boyfriend, they didn't even care about their own grandson's life. Those were red-headed centipedes. Weren't they afraid the kid would die? So they hired a locksmith to break in themselves. There was a big red sign on the door saying, "Beware of pets."
This is basically asking for trouble. I'm disgusted. That woman was acting pitiful on the phone just a second ago. The next second, she paid a shady influencer 100,000 yuan in PR fees.
This transfer record is solid proof. Those two brats trampled all over the leather sofa as soon as they walked in.
Serves them right for getting bitten. Evil reaps its own reward.
The public opinion flipped faster than a tornado. In less than 20 minutes, the Otsao Viper skinning brother,
who took Suya's 100,000 yuan and made fake videos, was permanently banned by the platform. That bastard probably feared the cops would come knocking, so he deleted all his social media accounts overnight and vanished without a trace. What's even more satisfying is that the local police's official Otsao quickly commented and shared my 6DO. We've received reports from the public
and are aware of the incident regarding the suspected illegal trespassing, property damage, and extortion.
The police have filed a case and will not tolerate it.
Now, the Su family is completely nailed to the pillar of shame.
They don't even have a chance to turn things around.
Back in the villa's second-floor master bedroom,
Suya was staring blankly at her phone.
Her private message inbox had completely crashed. Hundreds of abusive messages were flooding in every second. Poisonous woman, murderer, gold digger, con artist, all kinds of disgusting words drowned her lie tidal wave. Just then, her phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number with no name saved. She tremblingly pressed the answer button. Before she could even speak, a harsh, ear-piercing roar came from the other end.
"Suya, you bitch, you'll die a horrible death.
May your whole family rot in hell." Suya screamed in fright and threw her phone away violently. It hit the wall, and the screen shattered into pieces.
"What's wrong, yeah? How's the situation online? Did that influencer pot the 6DO?
What did he say?"
Su's father, still dreaming of extorting the mansion, rushed over eagerly to ask.
Suya sat slumped on the floor, eyes vacant, her face as pale as a corpse. Her lips trembled uncontrollably. "It's over. It's all over.
He posted all the surveillance footage online, including the recording of you saying we'd used Little Treasure's high
house price.
He even has the record of my transfer to the influencer.
Everyone online is cursing us. The police have also filed a case."
Su's father was struck by lightning,
frozen solid in an instant. Su's mother collapsed to the ground with a thud, slapping her thighs and wailing loudly.
"What a disaster. I said we shouldn't do this."
"Now we've got nothing, not the house, and our whole family is going to jail.
Little Treasure's hand is almost rotten."
"What sin have we committed?"
"Shut up. Stop crying."
Su's father, like a raging beast, slapped his thigh hard. "What's the use of saying that now? We need to run, before the cops get here. Let's get out of this damn place."
"Run where?"
Suya covered her face in despair.
"That big lizard outside is still scratching at the door."
"We can't get out."
"Can't get out through the door? Then go through the window." Su's father rushed to the floor-to-ceiling window in the master bedroom.
"This is the second floor, just a few meters off the ground. We'll tear up the sheets, tie them into a rope, and climb down through the window. Once we're out of this yard, who can catch us?" When people are pushed to the edge, they often burst out with amazing action. Su's father and Su's mother immediately charged at the big bed, frantically tearing off the expensive imported silk bedding worth tens of thousands.
They started tying knots. I watched the surveillance,
a cruel smile curling at the corner of my mouth. "Want to run? The show I carefully set up isn't over yet. How can the actors leave early?" I picked up my phone and opened the villa's smart home control EP. My finger lightly swiped to the anti-burglary security mode section. When this villa was being renovated, I knew I'd be traveling often. To prevent break-ins, I spent a fortune installing a top-tier security system. All doors and windows were equipped with bank vault level
aviation titanium alloy anti-burglary rolling shutters.
"Since you're here,
you might as well spend the new year at my place. It's windy outside, don't catch a cold."
I sneered and pressed the red start button. D-security mode activated.
The entire house is now in maximum lockdown.
The emotionless AI prompt came from my phone.
In the villa's master bedroom,
Su's father had just tied the sheet rope
to the railing of the floor-to-ceiling window.
He was about to push open the glass window when suddenly, a low mechanical roar came from inside the walls. What's going on? What's that sound? Sue's mother looked around in panic. The next second, in the Sue family's stunned gaze, outside the floor-to-ceiling window, the heavy titanium alloy anti-burglary rolling shutter, usually hidden in the wall, descended with an oppressive force, rumbling down. Quick, push the window open. Sue's father panicked and tried desperately to push the glass window, but the shutter came down extremely fast. With a loud bang, it slammed heavily onto the windowsill, completely locking it. Not just the floor-to-ceiling window, the side windows of the master bedroom, even the windows in the hallway, every exit on both floors of the entire villa, was instantly sealed shut by thick metal doors. The master bedroom, which had let in a sliver of moonlight, was plunged into absolute, pitch-black darkness. Then, the emergency lights on the ceiling flickered a few times, emitting a pale, weak glow. This faint light didn't bring any sense of safety. Instead, it made the room look like a gloomy underground morgue. Dead silence, an eerie, deathly stillness. The room was left with only the weak moans of the nephew, and the increasingly frantic banging on the door from the Komodo dragon outside, frustrated by its lost prey. Bang. Bang. What's going on? Suya completely broke down. She rushed to the floor-to-ceiling window and frantically pounded on the cold, hard metal shutter. Open the door. Let us out. Chin Fong, I know you're watching. Let us out. We don't want the house anymore. Let us go. No one answered her. Only a dull echo replied. This titanium alloy shutter would take even a professional cutter hours to break through. With just his fingers. Even if he smashed his bones, he couldn't make a single crack. Time ticked by second, from the moment they were trapped in the master bedroom. A full 10 hours had passed. No water, no food. I had remotely turned off the air conditioning. The room was getting stuffier and hotter. The smell of excrement, mixed with the stench of the nephew's wound, turned the master bedroom into a nauseating gas chamber. Water, I need water. The nephew lay on the bed, his lips cracked and bleeding, his voice hoarse like broken bellows. Old man, think of something. Little treasure has a fever. If he doesn't get water and medicine, he'll die. Sue's mother was so anxious she was banging her head against the wall. Sue's father paced around the room like a headless fly. He tried to break down the door to the master bathroom to get some tap water, but he forgot. The bathroom door had been locked and jammed in the chaos earlier. It wouldn't open at all. When people are extremely hungry and terrified, they completely lose their reason. The family started ransacking the master bedroom like mad dogs, trying to find anything edible or drinkable. They smashed my display cabinet, tore apart my wardrobe, and turned every drawer upside down. But aside from a few ties and some luxury watches, there was nothing to eat. Just as Sue's father was leaning against the wall, gasping in despair, his hand accidentally touched a large oil painting on the wall. With a click, the painting, already unstable from their earlier rampage, fell off and crashed to the floor. On the wall behind the painting, a square hidden compartment was revealed. Embedded in the compartment was a pure black safe with a complex patgut, keypad and fingerprint recognition system. Sue's father's eyes widened. In his bloodshot eyes, a sick, greedy light flared up again. A safe. There's a safe here. Sue's father growled excitedly, his voice cracking. Suya and Sue's mother heard the sound and rushed over like two hungry wolves in this desperate situation where they could barely save their lives. Seeing a safe, their first thought wasn't how to call for help, but the money inside. This is a rich man's master bedroom. The safe must be full of cash, maybe even gold bars and property deeds. Sue's father swallowed his saliva, his hands gripping the cold iron door of the safe. If we can get what's inside, even if the cops catch us, it'll be worth it for life. Or maybe there's a spare key or remote control for the iron door inside. Greed truly is humanity's most incurable disease, but it has a patgut. How do we open it? Suya frowned at the complex lock. Patgut, my ass. Smash it. Sue's father grabbed the fire axe he'd used to break the door earlier. I don't believe I can't break this hunk of iron. On the other end of the surveillance, I watched the Sue family fall into madness again, and couldn't help but laugh. Go ahead, smash it hard. That's a custom-made blind box just for your family. How can you not open it and see? Inside, there were no gold bars, no cash, and certainly no remote control. What was inside was the grand finale I'd carefully prepared for you. Bang. 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 The dull, harsh sound of metal striking metal echoed wildly in the sealed, stuffy master bedroom. Sue's father was like a gambler who'd lost all his chips, desperately trying for one last comeback. He was shirtless, reeking of sweat and grime, his hands gripping the fire axe tightly, and he was brutally hacking at the safe's keypad with inhuman violence. Old man, put some muscle into it. This metal doesn't look thick. It's about to break open. Sue's mother rubbed her hands together excitedly, her eyes gleaming, as if stacks of 100 yuan bills were already waving at her. Suya was holding her phone to provide light. Even though the screen was shattered, the flashlight still worked. Her dust-covered face was also filled with greed. Dad, aim for the lock. If you break the lock, the door will pop open. I sat in front of the screen, leisurely finishing my last skewer of barbecue, coldly watching these clowns. That safe was a custom-made anti-burglary model from a German security company. For a safe of this level, violent destruction wouldn't open the door. Instead, it would trigger its core defense mechanism. Just as Sue's father landed another heavy blow on the keypad, the panel finally couldn't take it anymore, and shattered completely. It's open. It's open. We broke it. Sue's father excitedly threw down the fire axe, not even noticing his cut finger, and eagerly reached his hand into the broken gap to pull open the safe door. Beep. Beep.
Beep, suddenly, 3 sharp, short electronic alarms
came from inside the safe.
The Su family froze in unison.
Before they could figure out what the sound meant, a dull thud echoed.
The safe's internal anti-theft mechanism was fully activated.
What greeted them wasn't piles of cash or shiny gold bars, but a high-pressure spray of thick, pungent orange-red mist. The pressure was immense, like water from a fire hose, instantly hitting Sue's father, who was closest.
High-concentration industrial-grade pepper spray,
loaded with capsaicin and irritating chemicals,
exploded in a fan shape in milliseconds, engulfing the entire master bedroom. My eyes. My eyes are burning. Sue's father let out a scream 10 times more agonizing than a pig being slaughtered, clutching his face with both hands,
and fell straight backward, writhing in agony on the floor. He felt like his eyeballs
had been doused in boiling sulfuric acid.
With every breath,
his windpipe and lungs felt like they were on fire.
Violent coughing made him vomit stomach acid.
Suya and Sue's mother, who were close by, didn't escape either.
Help. What is this stuff?
Suya was choked, tears and snot streaming, her once delicate face instantly covered in a layer of stinging orange-red powder.
She lay on the ground, waving her hands wildly in the air,
her throat instantly hoarse, unable to form a complete sentence. Sue's mother was choked so badly she knelt on the ground, dry heaving, even losing control of her bladder.
The nephew, who had been half dead on the bed, smelled the pungent odor, and started convulsing violently,
letting out weak, pained whimpers.
In just a few seconds,
the master bedroom had turned into a gas chamber with no escape.
As the safe sprayed the pepper spray, a thick blue folder fell out through the broken gap and landed on the floor with a thud. Since the room was sealed and air wasn't circulating, the concentration of tear gas remained high.
The Su family were like 4 dying fish thrown onto the shore,
writhing, coughing, and wailing in pain on the ground. But the worst was yet to come. The earth-shattering screams and crashing noises from the room, along with the pungent smell seeping through the door cracks, completely agitated the cold-blooded killer lurking outside.
A heavy, raspy breath came from outside the door.
The meter-long Komodo dragon, seeming to believe there was a huge prey inside, stopped slowly scratching at the door, and launched a fierce charge, with a heart-stopping thud.
The dragon's heavy body, covered in hard scales,
like a small battering ram,
slammed violently into the solid wooden door of the master bedroom.
The door groaned in pain. The heavy wooden dresser propping it up was pushed back a full 2 centimeters by the impact, scraping a harsh sound across the floor.
He's coming in. He's breaking through. Sue's mother collapsed on the ground,
ignoring the burning pain in her eyes,
pointed at the door in despair and screamed.
Another violent thud followed. Dust from above the door frame rained down. In the center of the wooden door, a clear crack had even appeared.
The dragon's toxic, bacteria-laden saliva
dripped in through the bottom of the door. A claw with sharp talons had already slipped through the gap at the bottom, frantically scratching at the floor,
with a man-eating beast that could break in at any moment ahead,
and a sealed, tear gas-filled room behind that was agonizing.
The Su family's psychological defenses
finally collapsed completely. Suya lay on the ground, coughing violently, while frantically rubbing her swollen, red eyes. Her vision was blurry, but in her extreme terror,
she vaguely saw on the floor
the blue folder that had fallen from the safe.
She forced herself through the lung-tearing pain, crawled over with difficulty, and tremblingly opened the first page.
She only glanced at it,
and her face, flushed from lack of oxygen,
turned deathly pale. Even her violent coughs got stuck in her throat.
It was a complete record of her time as the financial director at my company,
where she used her position
to forge seals, inflate project costs, set up shell companies,
and launder money.
Every transaction was precise to the decimal point,
clearly printed on the pages.
There were even screenshots of her and her male best friend
chatting on WeChat about transferring assets. This can't be. How does he know everything? Suya dropped the folder as if electrocuted, collapsing like a pile of mud, her mind exploding in a daze. Just as the family was sinking into the depths of despair, a calm, cold, yet slightly mocking voice came out of nowhere from the 4 hidden high-end surround sound speakers on the ceiling.
Ding dong, a crisp broadcast tone sounded first.
Then my voice echoed throughout the villa.
Enjoying the coughing, everyone? This is a high-strength anti-burglary gas I ordered from abroad.
For 30,000 yuan. Over 90% pure.
Originally meant to keep out thieves, but it ended up catching the thieves inside the house.
Hearing my voice, the 4 people in the room froze instantly, even forgetting to scream.
Chinfeng. It's you, you psycho. You'll die a horrible death. Suya screamed like a madwoman,
roaring hysterically at the ceiling. This is murder. Let us out.
Cough, 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 the murder?
I sneered into the microphone. Suya, you still don't get it, do you? This villa's security system can only be unlocked from outside or through my phone. As for calling the police, go ahead and try. Oh, I forgot. The signal here is blocked.
Unless you connect to my private network.
You can't even dial 110. What do you want?
Su's father clutched his chest,
gasping heavily.
We don't want your house anymore. We don't want this damn house. Oku, just open the door and let us go.
Little treasure is dying.
Go.
Go where? My voice suddenly turned icy cold. Each word like a heavy hammer, slamming into their hearts. The debts from the last life haven't been settled, and you've already incurred new ones in this life. And you think you can just walk away? Qinfeng, have you lost your mind? What last life? What this life? Are you mentally ill? Sue's mother cried out in despair on the ground. I'm not crazy. You're just too greedy. I ignored Sue's mother's tantrum, and continued calmly. Suya, did you see the file on the floor? I paid a lot of money to have top auditors dig it up. On March 15th last year, you inflated a project material cost and cashed out 508,000 yuan. On August 10th, you added your male best friend's shell company to the supplier list and transferred 1.2 million yuan in 3 installments, big and small, over these 3 years. You used your position to embezzle 3.6 million yuan company funds. At these words, Sue's father and mother were stunned. They were greedy but didn't know the law, let alone that their daughter was bold enough to cook the books at the company. 3.6 million? Sue's father's eyes, swollen and red from the spray, widened in disbelief as he looked at his daughter on the floor. According to Chinese criminal law, for a huge amount of embezzlement, the sentence is 3 to 10 years in prison. I spoke like a cold judge, reading out their death sentence. Suya, add to that this trespassing with your family, the intentional destruction of my millions in antiques, and attempted extortion, multiple charges combined, and you'll be in there until menopause. No, Qinfeng, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Suya finally realized the gravity of the situation, ignoring the pepper spray powder on the floor. She crawled frantically to the spot under the camera in the center of the room, fell to her knees with a thud, and kowtowed desperately. Forgive me, I'll pay back the money. I'll give it all back. Please, just open the door. That lizard is coming in. Thud. Crack, as if to punctuate my words. The Komodo dragon outside launched another deadly charge. This time, a crisp breaking sound came from the door lock. The bottom of the solid wooden door was smashed into a large hole. A huge, ugly, slime-covered lizard head squeezed through the hole, its bright red forked tongue dancing in the air. Its cold, dark yellow reptilian eyes fixed on the Sue family on the floor. Help! It's coming in. Sue's mother's eyes rolled back, and she fainted on the spot, collapsing into a puddle of filth. Sue's father stumbled backward in terror, tripped over the bed leg, and landed on the floor. His pants instantly soaked. His once arrogant face was now twisted into a mask of extreme fear. Scared already? I watched their desperate, disgusting expressions on the surveillance, and the pent-up frustration in my heart finally released completely. You said I was petty. That I shouldn't argue with kids? You said smashing a few toys was no big deal? I raised my voice and roared. Then look at yourselves now, greedy, arrogant, and ugly. You wanted my house? Fine, I'll give you this house right now. But it's a tomb you'll never leave. Qinfeng, I'm begging you. All the mistakes are mine. Save my sister, Xiaobao, she's only 7. Suya knelt on the ground, crying her heart out. Even her scalp was broken. Blood streamed down her forehead, mixed with orange-red tear gas powder. Lie a vengeful ghost. I let out a cold laugh. You made me wait for you in the rain for 4 hours, while you were drinking with some random guy at a bar. Did you think about feelings then? You teamed up with that shady influencer to spread lies. When you tried to blackmail me for my villa using your nephew's life, did you think about feelings then? Now you don't even deserve to mention those 2 words to me. The dressing table blocking the door was finally pushed open, under the constant biting and ramming of the giant lizard. The master bedroom door let out its final, agonizing groan. The hinges on one side of the doorframe completely shattered. The solid wood security door, barely hanging on, tilted inward and fell. That massive creature, with saliva dripping from its mouth, the Komodo dragon completely crossed the threshold. Its huge body was fully exposed to the Sue family's view. It lifted its head and let out a deep roar. Then it moved its thick limbs. Step by step, it crawled towards Suya and Sue father, who had lost all ability to resist. Step by step, it crawled over. Death had truly arrived at this moment. The air in the master bedroom seemed to freeze. The massive Komodo dragon flicked its forked, bright red tongue. Its heavy limbs made a terrifying tapping sound on the floor. It wasn't actually hungry. After all, I had already fed it earlier. But the strong smell of blood and the irritating scent of pepper spray in the room put it in an extremely agitated, stressed state. It opened its huge mouth, revealing rows of sharp, fine teeth. Saliva dripped onto the solid wood floor. It didn't even pounce directly to bite. Instead, like a cat playing with a mouse, it slowly approached Sue father, who was slumped on the ground. Stay away, you beast. Get lost. Sue father had none of the arrogance he had when swinging the axe at the offering table. He was lie a paralyzed invalid, pushing himself backward with his hands on the floor, until his back was pressed against the cold wall. The lizard suddenly lunged forward, and bit down hard on Sue father's leather shoe. Sue father let out the most miserable scream of his life. His whole body convulsed violently. His legs kicked wildly. The lizard hadn't bitten his flesh. It just clamped down on the toe of his shoe, then yanked it backward. Sue father's shoe was ripped off. The lizard shook its head, tossing the sweat-soaked shoe aside. It turned its head again. Its cold, amber vertical pupils locked onto Sue father's ankle. Qinfeng, I'm begging you, help. My dad will be eaten. Suya lay on the ground, watching this terrifying scene. Her mental defenses completely shattered. She scrambled to the center of the room, right under the surveillance camera, not even caring about the glass shards digging into her knees. Lie a pathetic, begging stray dog. She frantically kowtowed to the microphone on the ceiling. The thud of her forehead hitting the floor was dull and loud. After just a few knocks, her forehead was already a bloody mess. I know I was wrong, Chinfeng. I really know I was wrong. All the mistakes are mine. I'll do whatever you say. I'm begging you to get rid of this monster. I don't want to die. I'm young. I don't want to die. Suya's voice was hoarse from screaming. Her face was covered in snot. Tears mixed with the orange-red powder from the pepper spray. She looked utterly pathetic. I sat in front of the screen at the hotel, watching this coldly. I picked up the microphone. My voice was calm, without a trace of emotion. Want to lie? Then beg me to teach you what to do. Suya grabbed onto this last lifeline, looked up, staring intently at the camera. I sneered. If you want to escape death, then you need to show some remorse. I want your whole family to face the camera and confess every disgusting thing you've done to me. Every scheme you plotted against me. One by one, say it all out loud. Miss one, or tell one lie, and I'll turn off the monitor and unplug the internet. Let you be slowly gnawed down to bones in there. I'll talk. I'll say it all. Suya had no dignity left at this point. She turned and yelled at her terrified father. Dad, come here and kneel down. Do you want to be bitten to death? Su's father was shaking like a leaf. He scrambled over to Suya and fell to his knees with a thud. As for Su's mother, she had already fainted from fear, lying unconscious to the side. The nephew on the bed, due to blood loss and SOC, had also fallen into a deep coma. Start. My patience is limited. That lizard seems hungry again. I pressed record. Suya took a deep breath. Tears streaming down her face, she began the most thorough confession of her life, facing the camera. I never really loved you. I was with you because you made a lot of money and could satisfy my vanity. I treated you like an ATM. I used your money to buy myself bags and bought my brother a car. That day it was pouring rain. I made you wait outside the mall for 4 hours. My phone wasn't dead. I deliberately didn't answer. I was drinking at a bar with my male best friend, and I even mocked you in front of him, saying you were like a dog that comes when called and leaves when told. And your graduation project. I actually let my 2 nephews ruin it, because I was jealous of your talent. You were about to go to a top design institute. I was afraid you'd leave me once you became successful, so I deliberately had them destroy your hard work, and then called you petty. I just wanted to break you down mentally, so you'd be stuck revolving around me forever. Saying this, Suya slapped herself hard, twice, with both hands. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. I'm a bitch. I'm a selfish gold digger, Chinfeng. I'm not human. Continue. I spat out 2 words expressionlessly. Suya pointed a trembling finger at the blue folder on the floor. I also stole the money from the company. I used my position to forge the company seal and supplier documents. Over 3 years, I transferred 3.6 million from you. I sent it all to my male best friend's shell company, and we split it 50-50. I'm sorry. I'll pay you back all the money. Please don't call the police on me. Hearing this, I snorted coldly. Call the police? The police are probably already on their way. Your turn. I called out Su's father's name through the microphone. Su's father trembled all over, tears streaming down his aged face, slapping himself and wailing. I'm not human either, you old bastard. Greed knows no bounds. I always looked down on you. Thought you were just some clueless kid from out of town. With a bit of dirty money, you should spend it on our family. This time, coming to your villa was all Yaya's idea. She said this house is worth tens of millions. We wanted to come take photos while you were away, to pot on social media and show off. We paid off the locksmith to get in. Then Xiaobao got bitten by the turtle in the water. I was going to call the police, but I was blinded by greed. Su's father beat his chest hard, filled with regret. I thought, since Xiaobao was already bitten, we couldn't let those bites go to waste. I wanted to use online pressure to force you to give in. I wanted to blackmail you for this villa. I even told my wife to let Xiaobao suffer a bit longer. The more swollen his arm got, the more money we could extort from you. I'm a beast. I even schemed against my own grandson, brother Chen, Bot Chen, ancestor. I beg you, let us lie. Slap, slap, slap. The master bedroom echoed with the sound of Su's father and Suya slapping themselves. In the face of the fear of death, the meanness, vanity, greed, and malice they had hidden their whole lives were stripped bare, leaving nothing. They finally realized the honest man they had trampled underfoot and bullied at will, once pushed to the edge, showing his fangs, was a nightmare they couldn't handle. Just then, outside the door of my hotel room, the urgent sound of police sirens suddenly rang out. Then my phone rang. It was the local police station. They had already received my online report and real-time location, and split into 2 teams. One found me. The other had surrounded my villa. I hung up and spoke into the microphone, let out a long sigh of relief. Your confession was sincere enough. My voice echoed in the villa again. But I don't accept your apology. The one you should confess to isn't me. It's the law. Suya's head shot up, her eyes filled with desperate terror. What do you mean? Didn't you say you'd let us go if we told the truth? I said I'd let you go, but I didn't say I wouldn't call the police. I sneered. My finger lightly tapped the smart home control panel on my phone. A piercing, high-frequency ultrasonic wave erupted in the master bedroom. This was the repeller I had installed in the walls. The Komodo dragon, which had been restless, heard the sound, and seemed extremely frightened. It immediately turned its massive body, and scurried out of the master bedroom as if fleeing for its life, back into the corner of the study. Just as it left, the sharp sound of police sirens came from outside the villa. Red and blue police lights illuminated the dark night sky like daylight. Mr. Chen, we are the SWAT team from the City Police Bureau. We have arrived at the perimeter of your villa. Please immediately deactivate the house's security lockdown. The serious voice of the on-site police commander came through my phone. Det, officer. Thank you for your hard work. I pressed the unlock button. Rumble. The titanium alloy explosion-proof rolling doors on both floors slowly rose at the same time. The long mist, fresh air and blinding police lights rushed into that hellish master bedroom. Seconds later, the front door was forced open. A group of fully armed SWAT officers with riot shields rushed in, followed by animal control personnel carrying professional capture nets and medical staff with first aid kits. Don't move. Everyone, hands on your heads and kneel down. Blinding flashlights shone on the Su family. Suya and Su father lay on the ground like piles of mud, too weak to even raise their hands. When the cold handcuffs clicked around Suya's wrists, she finally completely broke down, letting out a desperate wail. Her eyes rolled back, and she passed out. Medical staff quickly carried Su mother and the two bitten, disfigured brats onto stretchers, rushing them to the hospital for emergency treatment. Meanwhile, Suya and Su father were dragged out like dead dogs by two SWAT officers, straight out of the multi-million $1 mansion they dreamed of owning, and shoved into the police car with flashing lights. Watching the surveillance footage as the last officer left the villa and sealed it, I calmly closed my laptop. This long, two-lifetime revenge had finally come to an end. 3 months later, the verdict of the first trial at the City Intermediate Court was announced because the chain of evidence I provided was too complete. From high-definition surveillance footage with no blind spots to the financial records showing the money flow and the ultra-clear ODO and 6DO of them confessing their crimes in the master bedroom. The Su family had no room to argue. Standing in the defendant's box, Suya had disheveled hair and a haggard face. Nothing like the urban beauty she once was. When the judge read the verdict, her legs gave way, and she collapsed to the ground. Suya was convicted of embezzlement, illegal entry into a residence, and attempted extortion. For multiple crimes, she was sentenced to 7 years in prison and fined 500,000 RMB. Su father and Su mother were convicted of illegal entry into a residence and intentional destruction of property and sentenced to 3 years and 2 years and 6 months respectively. The most devastating part was the civil compensation. They had gone on a rampage in the villa, destroying a large number of my Ming Dynasty blue and white porcelain, appraised by experts, jadeite, and valuable antiques. Total losses amounted to 4.6 million RMB. Plus, they had to pay for repairs to my villa's solid wood doors, leather sofas, and other furniture. The Su family couldn't afford that much money. The court legally enforced the seizure of all their assets. Their old, dilapidated house in the city center was seized and auctioned. The proceeds were all used to compensate my losses. Although the two brats survived after emergency treatment, the older nephew's arm had severe nerve damage, and the younger nephew's calf was covered in horrific scars because their parents were in prison, and their grandparents and aunt were also behind bars. These two once uncontrollable little tyrants were eventually sent to the countryside to be raised by their elderly, penniless great-grandmother. The once mean and arrogant family, always trying to suck others dry. The Su family was completely destroyed, gone without a trace. As for those netizens who were misled on lie and cyberbullied me without knowing the truth, in the face of the official report and irrefutable evidence, they had already slunk away and deleted their comments. My social media followers skyrocketed by millions overnight, and my company's business, thanks to the huge traffic from this reversal, tripled. The day I walked out of the courthouse, it was a beautiful, sunny day. I took a deep breath of fresh air, feeling an unprecedented lightness. The gloom, humiliation, and resentment that had weighed on me in my past life seemed to be swept away by the brilliant sunshine. Evil eventually gets its due, and I had defended my own sovereignty. I took out my phone and called the renovation company. Hello, Managioli? Det, don't bother repairing that villa. Clear out everything inside. Tear down the walls, rip up the floors. I want to renovate it completely. With a brighter, more open sky, I hung up the phone and strode towards my sports car parked on the street, stepped on the gas, heading towards my brand new, brilliant life where no one could interfere.